All right, the next item on the agenda is Resolution 22-2012, and this is a resolution creating the Department of Arts, Recreation, and Parks to be comprised of former Arts and Recreation Department and USA Stadium Complex, and establishing the Millington Arts, Recreation, and Parks, that's tough to say, Todd, Advisory Board. Whereas the Board of Mayor and Aldermen desires to create the Department of Arts and Recreation as the Department of Arts, Recreation, and Parks, the department, and to include within the duties assigned to the department the oversight, management, and operation responsibilities for the USA Stadium Complex as defined below. And whereas the Board desires to create the Millington Arts, Recreation, and Parks Advisory Board as a voluntary advisory board to assist and advise the department on matters related to arts, recreational, and sports amenities and activities in the city. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen of the City of Millington, Tennessee as follows. There is hereby created the Department of Arts, Recreation, and Parks, a Department of City Government, the Department, which replaces the Department of City Government formerly called Arts and Recreation, and incorporates all duties, activities, events, and employees that were part of the Arts and Recreation Department. The Director of the Department of Arts, Recreation, and Parks Director, in addition to his or her other duties, shall be responsible for the oversight, management, and operation of the USA Stadium and the other properties which, together with the USA Stadium, have been known as the Millington Sports Complex, both as such facilities now exist and as they may future exist, the complex, and for the management and direction of all city employees who work for or at such facilities. Number 3, all compensation for employees of the city who work for or at the Department of Arts, Recreation, and Parks, Millington, including the complex, shall be set by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen in accordance with normal city procedures. There is hereby established the Millington Arts, Recreation, and Parks Advisory Board, the Advisory Board, as a volunteer board to assist and advise the Director and the City with the management, operation, and marketing of the complex, and is made to be determined from time to time on matters related to arts, recreational, and sports amenities and activities in the city. Number 5. There shall be 7 members of the Advisory Board who shall be appointed by the Mayor and approved by the Board of Aldermen. Advisory Board's members may be residents of the City of Millington or the city's reserve area. Advisory Board members shall serve 3-year terms, provided, however, that in order to provide for staggered terms of the members first appointed, 2 shall serve a 1-year term, 2 shall serve a 2-year term, and 3 shall serve a 3-year term. Thereafter, each member shall be appointed to a 3-year term except when appointed to fill the remainder of an unexpired term in the event of a vacancy. Number 6, the Advisory Board shall have a chairman, a vice chairman, and a secretary who should be elected for 1-year terms by the members of the Advisory Board, provided, however, that the initial officers of the Advisory Board shall be appointed by the Mayor and approved by the Board of Aldermen. In the absence of the chairman, the vice chairman shall conduct all meetings. Number 7, the Advisory Board shall meet at least monthly at a regular time and place to be established by the Advisory Board and the Director. Special meetings may be called by the Director, the Chairman, or any 3 members. Public notice of the Advisory Board meetings shall be given in accordance with normal city procedures. Any member who fails to attend 2/3 of the meetings in any year may be removed from the Advisory Board by a majority vote of the members. The Advisory Board shall undertake such duties and activities as may be requested by the Director or the Mayor. In addition to any other duties, the Advisory Board shall advise the city with regard to requirements for compliance with Tree City designation and with regard to grants which may be available to or for the benefit of the complex or any other part of the department and for grant eligibility. The Advisory Board shall report to the Director, shall deliver written minutes stating the matters discussed and the action taken at each meeting to the Director within 1 week after each meeting. If I can have a motion and a second.
So moved. Second.
Okay. I have spoken with Carrie Vaughn, who's currently the chairperson of the Millington Sports Authority. And because we have to change the name from authority to commission or whatever, because they're not going to be dealing with money. Other than that, their duties are actually expanded. And Todd, do you want to talk about the necessity for having this to get grants And I just got some notice today, and I think I put it in your box of some new grants that just put them away.
I've got one part of it. Paragraph 5, where states advisory board members may be residents. Should we not say shall be residents? Maybe, or is, or
Either way, I mean, shall is fine.
does may infer that they can or cannot be?
Well, if you open it up to the city's reserve area, which is next, that's not a,
Well, that's
that's
fine.
the next part of
Do
the
you
city.
want to
Yeah,
change
but
it?
I mean, what I'm saying, what's the intent of that,
Okay.
is to have somebody that is
I
from
don't have a
Millington or
problem.
Millington Reserve is fine. I just meant that we didn't, if we didn't want, I think the intent was to make sure, to be sure, that's
And
all.
let's
All right, let's
Yeah, we
let
got
Todd
Millington.
talk, and we'll entertain a motion to amend. I agree.
Okay.
I have a question before Todd talks. In paragraph 9, you've got the advisory board reporting to the director. And I thought most of our boards reported to the city and the board of Aldermen.
You want him to report to the director and...
I don't know of any other boards we've got that report to the director.
Well, I think what the intent of this was to be sure that as they're negotiating and dealing with grant applications, that the ongoing or whatever they're doing is to keep them informed. We don't really have any other advisory boards in the city.
We got this, you got the sewer board.
The what?
The sewer board, sewer and water board. That's an advisory board. They don't report to public works. I don't think the rest of the report to the city, right?
Well, I think it's important that there be communication because of the grant applications, and I'm not sure of any other way to word that.
keep in mind that there will be a city manager and who will be overseeing the director. So that if there are, for instance, grant applications, the advisory board is working on, my anticipation is that there will be lots of communication between the advisory board, the director, and the city manager.
Well, I'm sure there will be. In the past, on the sports authority, we had the chief who was a director of his department. And we had basically Jeff, who was director of his department. But we don't have any directors appointed in this board, the advisory board. But you expect any other directors of the city?
I don't expect any
It
city
wouldn't be appropriate
employees,
for a department head to report to another department head.
because I feel like it needs to be independent of that. But I think it's important that there be a method of communication, and other than written minutes and things, I'm not sure that there's, I don't know how to word it to be sure that they're not going over here without the director of.
I think it's important to get it started, so I'm not going to get hung up over that point. I just, something that if it doesn't work out that way, we need to be willing.
Well, it's a resolution and we can
That's
change
correct,
it
that's correct.
in one reading.
That language came from the Tennessee Recreation and Parks Association, and that's the way that they have all of theirs set up in other cities in Tennessee. That was where we got the wording for all of that. The necessity of having the Parks Recreation or Arts Recreation and Parks Advisory Board is that on any grant applications through the Tennessee Recreation and Parks Association, anywhere between 3% and 10% of the grant application is having approval of your Arts, Recreation, and Parks Advisory Board to get those points that your community has bought into whatever project you're applying for a grant for with them.
And did I not put something in your box today about a new round of grants?
I checked it early this morning.
Okay, later this afternoon, yeah. It was later this afternoon, I got in the mail, a new round of grants coming, so. That's good. All right, would you like to make a motion to amend?
I'll make a motion that we amend paragraph 5 to state shall instead of may. Was there something you had, Mike? In 9, or?
That's
You're okay with, okay.
Just let me go. If it doesn't work like the mayor says, the resolution.
It's a resolution, come back and change it. Okay, is there a second to the motion to amend?
Second.
Any discussion? We have roll call on the amendment.